Hello and welcome to this webinar on using Jamboard. Jamboard is a digital whiteboard that you can use collaboratively with your students, or you can use it to display work or to showcase how to do something for your students. So just to kind of give you some basic navigation, I am in Jamboard right now. You can access Jamboard from your waffle within Google Drive. You can also go to jamboard.google.com to get the web-based one, which is the one we're going to be using today in this webinar, or you can get the app, and from the app you'll have some different functionalities that you can do within Jamboard that look more like what you would see on the actual board itself. All of them will work seamlessly for you no matter what device you're on. It's just that there are some different features between the web-based and the app. This one is going to be based on the web-based one. So just to give you some navigation here, Jamboard has the symbol of what it is in the top left-hand corner, just like in every G Suite product that you use. I've called this one Jamboard Webinar. Coming into the center, it says 1 out of 20. If I click on that box, it will expand the file bar and I'll be able to see all of the slides in the slide deck. And there is a limit on that, and I'll be showcasing that in just a moment. If I continue over to the right, I have the 3 dots. I can rename this jam. I can download the whole jam as a PDF. I can save each frame as an image. I can remove it, make a copy, and then if I want to see any updates that are coming for Jamboard, or if I want to send feedback on features I'd like to see, you have those options as well. Moving on to the right, I have the share button. When I click on the share button, it's going to come up just like it typically does with a Google Doc or a Google Slide, anything along those lines, where you can add people and they can join your jam, or you can give them a link. If you make it editable, every student that you invite to this link can now access and work on this jam. So this is great to use with Google Classroom. You could make the Jamboard editable for every student, or you can even give them their own copy for them to showcase their work. Moving along the left-hand side, if I click on the pen tool, it's going to highlight the tool. When I click on it again, it's going to give me the 4 different options. So I have pen, marker, highlighter, and brush. I have 6 colors that I can choose from. I have an eraser, I have a pointer, and I have sticky notes. That's going to come up, and I have several different colors or no color that I can add to my screen. I have an image search that we're going to spend a little time on in just a moment, where I can upload. I can pull in a Google image in, I can pull in something from my Google Drive, or use my photos. Below that, I have a shape tool. If I click on it twice, I will get all the different shapes. All of these shapes are fully editable. You can change the color, the border, and so on. Below that, there's a text box, and then right below that is a highlighter pen. Oops. Let's try that one again. You have to click on the highlighter tool, and then you have the highlighter tool in there. All right, so let's get started. Typically, you would invite your students to join your jams, but right now we're just going to look at it as I just have this as just for me. So here are the basics. You can have 20 slides maximum. You can add in images from anywhere. You can add in templates, but just know that the templates are always movable right now. You can't lock a template into place. You can draw and annotate right on the screen, add shapes, and add sticky notes. So typically I would have my students join my jam and give them something to do right off the bat to get them all on the same page. Now, it's not like other tools like a Pear Deck or a Nearpod where you can control what slide they're on. So they're going to have to learn to navigate. If you tell them to go to slide 4 or slide 5 and so on, you're going to have to tell them to go to those slides to join with you. But what you can do is you can have the students use sticky notes, use text boxes right on the screen, and they can start to design and work together. Let's take a look at some examples of what you can do. So you could ask a Post-it note type of question, a sticky note, and the students can ask questions. How do I add a sticky note? They can change the color to be whatever they'd like it to be. They click save, and all of those sticky notes come on your page. Now, to make the sticky note box go away, you have to hit cancel, and then you can move your sticky note anywhere on the screen. You can make it bigger. You can turn the angle, and then from the 3 dots, I can edit, duplicate, delete, or I can change the order of them if I have them layered on top of each other. Know that every time a student adds a sticky note, it always goes to the same spot. So if they can't find theirs, they just have to drag them into the location anywhere else on the screen so they can find their Post-it note. As I go to the next slide, I am using a template, and what I did is I put a clear shape on top of the template to try to help students to not by accident change the background. Now, you do have some background options, If you click on the backgrounds tab, you can add in dots. You can add in ruled paper, square paper, graph paper, blue or black background. You can also, like I said, bring in any images to be put on your background like I have here. And you can add in Post-it notes and drawings, and everyone can work collaboratively on that slide. You could also just give them a blank sheet of paper and they can do an activity on it. Here I put a Post-it note and I put an image, but you could certainly just give them a blank background. Again, if I wanted this to be graph paper, I can change that over into graph paper. Now, one little bit of warning right here, you see where it says clear frame. If I hit clear frame, it removes everything on that screen. So you want to tell your students to never use that one because it's going to remove everything that they did. I'm going to click undo and bring that back, but it would be good practice to just tell students don't use that button. Now, if your students are all within your domain as they join, they're going to show up at the top. You'll be able to see who is on what, but Jamboard does not have an edit history like other parts of the G Suite do, like Google Docs and Slides. So if somebody does something on here, unless you're watching it live, you really can't see who did what. So you might want to make sure that you're either doing this in synchronous learning or that you're giving students their own copy and they're doing their own work. Another thing you can do is bring in images. So I'm going to click on Add Image. And like I said, I can upload it from my computer. I can do a Google image search. I can go into my Google Drive or my photos. Here I'm going to go into the Google image search and I'm going to find an apple. And I want it to be a transparent image. And I'm going to grab any of these apples and I'm going to grab and pull it in. Sometimes they come in great. Sometimes they come in with the grid around it like you see this one. And then I can place this item wherever I'd like. If I decide I don't want it, I can click on the three dots, hit delete, and then I can find a different image. You can also, from this Google image search, find GIFs. And those can be brought in as well, so they will have some motion to them. So we'll give that a moment to load. And these can be moved anywhere on the screen. Again, you can tilt them and move them around. You can grab different parts and do different things with it. So however you want to put these items onto the screen, you can do that sort of thing. Going to the next one, just to show another way you can use templates. Let's say you're doing this as lunch count or you're doing this as attendance or something like that. You can have all the names be on the right-hand side and the students can click and drag in whatever 3 ones they want and drag them back. Again, if you're doing this collaboratively, every student will be moving these at the same time. I just wanted to show you the shapes tool. So if I click on the circle and I click on it again, I'm going to have the shapes come up. I've got a circle here. Let's say I want a black border around it. I can click up on the pencil. I can choose any of the 6 choices that I had here. I chose a black background or black circle. And then I can also choose a fill color. So I can make it be a color and I can move it, or I can say, you know what, I want it to be transparent. So it has the circle, but it's a transparent image. And you can drag it out and in to make it larger or smaller, grab the corner to tilt it, although you don't really notice that with the circle. And then I can choose the order in which the items are showing up. I can duplicate it or delete the item. Ways to use Jamboard. So here is a basic template saying, write your story ideas here. Students can grab a text box and they can click anywhere on the page and they can write anything they want on the screen. Another type of template, you can have students working collaboratively. Now you may say 2 or 3 students can go to each slide. That way you can kind of monitor what they're doing. You'll be able to click at the top and be able to see who's on what slide if you're doing this synchronously to be able to watch them work. You could also add a template in that's just on the left or the right and then have some blank space for students to do some work off to the side. Now, one of the things that I wish Jamboard would do, but it doesn't, is allow you to put in direct links to things. So here I have a link to Wheel of Names. I'd have to highlight this and then copy and paste it into another tab. So that might be difficult for your students to do, but just know that that's what it looks like if you try to put a link into your Jamboard. You can also bring in different worksheets. So I'm just going to delete these out for a moment so I can show you how I did that. So actually, I'll do this one too. I'm going to click on the image, and in my Google image search, I'm going to write 3rd grade math worksheet. I'm just going to grab whatever one I'm interested in pulling in to be on the screen. All right, and I can put this large on one side. The students can use the pen tool to do the math. Maybe they would rewrite 220. I don't have a mouse with me today, so or I don't have a touch screen, so they can write it out and then figure out the math plus 709, and they can actually do their work, on the screen and so on. So however you wanted to have them do that, you can have them do it on the screen. My handwriting is terrible with using the trackpad, but you get the idea. So you can bring in any kind of sheet that you would like on there. If the students want to erase their work, they use the eraser just to erase what they have on the sheet. All right, and like I said, you can bring in anything that you're interested by clicking on the image. I'm going to change this to first grade and just grab a different one. And you can see that you can pull in any sheet from the Google search. You could also upload in whatever sheet you would like to have on there from your drive, and then you can use that sheet as well. Another type of template where the students can use text boxes or post-it notes. Another type of template where the students can create their math families. You can use grid paper for the students to use graphs. You can use Venn diagrams. The students can use post-it notes or text boxes to compare and contrast. Here's just a writing assignment or something they might do with Writer's Workshop where they get a great poem and they have to talk about the poetic techniques where they can highlight on the screen. Maybe you'll have them highlight all of the sound, all the sound type of words or something along those lines. You can have them go through and do that. So I'm going to share this jam with you so you have access to all these links. You'll have to copy and paste them because they're not active links to some sample Jamboards. Anything that you like, you're just going to click the three dots and make a copy of it, and then you have it fully editable. To show you some of the ones that you have on that link, you're going to have one that has these jot spots, fist of fives, two truths and a lie. There's even one with a calendar for you as well. So you can take a look and see all different ones that are there. So that's a little bit about Jamboard. If you have any questions, please reach out.